Doing recording. Yeah, so maybe it's just our bad luck to have these people who can't sing in tune to save their lives, who are too lazy to learn to sing in tune.
Well, I know from my teacher, who was an elderly man, the story when he was sitting there with his friend and they were approached by a gang of hooligans.
Oh, and they sang out of tune and the hooligans went away.
They sang in tune, and the hooligans, they also had a guitar with 7 strings on it, which is the traditional Russian way of doing it. And instead of, the hooligans saw the guitar and said, okay, is it yours? And they said, yes. Can you sing? Yes. And they sang beautifully and played the guitar beautifully, and the hooligans just went away saying thank you.
Different. Yes, that may happen, but we're not talking about those people, we're talking about these people who can't possibly sing in tune. Why not? It's not that difficult. It's not difficult at all. Unless they're just lazy. I don't know. Maybe they like torturing people around. But anyway, let's do something nicer. Okay, so today we have Donne. Who is Donne? What do we know about him? Do you know anything about him?
He was a poet. He was writing in. He was considered to be a part of metaphysical direction in poetry. He also was from Catholic family. In times when Protestants and Catholics were having wars and fights, and in the end he turned to Protestant faith, and he had a huge crisis. And he also did a lot of preaching, and mostly he was writing
let's
preaching.
say at first he wasn't interested in religion at all, then he was really interested in religion.
Yeah, he was like deeply dived into it. Yeah. And he wrote a lot of satire poetry, and he also used this method. I wrote it down. The name was this method. So basically, you do a metaphor by comparing two very, very different things. Like, for example, the body of your lover and the geographical places on the planet.
They're not different.
Yeah, but it's like unexpected metaphor, and
it's unexpected because he's not afraid to go big or small. What he does, he shows you how universal we are.
It's called conceit.
Yeah, conceit. That's really the good Morrow, which is like a really good.
Yeah, I had to do an illustration this morning.
It's amazing. I wander by my trough, oh thou. Thou is like although, thou is like you. I wander by my trough, for thou and I did, till we loved. Were we not weaned till then, but sat on country pleasures childishly? Or snorted we in the 7 slippers then? 'Twas so. But this, all pleasures fancies be. If ever any beauty I did see, which I desired and got, 'twas but a dream of thee. And now, good Morrow to our waking souls, which watch not one another out of fear. For love, all love of other sides controls, and makes one little room and everywhere. Let sea discoverers to new worlds have gone. Let maps to other worlds on worlds have shown. Let us possess one world, each have one, and is one. My face in thine eye, thine in mine appears, and true plain hearts do in the faces rest. Where can we find 2 better hemispheres, without sharp north, without declining west? Whatever dies was not mixed equally. If our 2 loves be one, or thou and I love so alike, that none do slacken, none can die. Amazing. How do you think about it?
It's very melancholic, but in a good way.
Melancholic.
I think so, yeah, because
It's the most positive poem you can find ever. How is it melancholic to you?
it felt melancholic because it's monochromic in some way, and he talks about it's a poem without any actions. So it's a poem about feelings and
Yes.
thoughts and a little bit of analyzing them, but it's very concrete and at the same time it's really abstract.
It isn't. It's very specific.
It is specific, but he also makes a lot of comparisons, a lot of metaphors, and sometimes they feel a little bit off the topic, but when you look at it again and you start to analyze, like, why did he use this comparison, like, why did he put 7 sleepers in it, what's the point, and then it's like maybe you just want to read it again more thoroughly and get it, but I think this poem, it requires time to get it, so that's why probably it felt melancholic to me, because now you just see
Because
it.
now you need to do homework.
Yeah.
What do you think? Philip?
Well, interesting, and because it depicts something or somebody who look like the two people who love each other. It's always interesting to see why and how love functions among us. But I think I would agree with you that it is probably a bit melancholic, but in a very positive way. So you don't rush, you just say what you have to say, you just try and get in touch with your feelings, and then you write this beautiful poem.
It also feels old because of Trove and Thou, but not old like it was written a long time ago. I mean, there is this kind of romantic mood
Yes.
when it's
why
connected
So you
to
didn't know
the
him personally then? John? Because you told us quite a lot of facts about John. I thought you met him.
No, I just had
You
I just had a brief at my university and there was a competition.
So he
Yeah.
came to your university.
What?
Okay.
No, I mean, no, he didn't. He died a lot of times ago, but we just had to
Oh, did
illustrate.
he? Not true. Sorry.
Hi, hello. Yeah, we just had to illustrate this poem, and it was included to the anthology of love poems. But I mean, for me, it felt like it's a weird poem about love.
It is.
A weird poem.
It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, usually you don't talk about love. I mean, physical love, emotional love between two people in that way. How he does it. So it's.
But
it's
how?
one-
I'm sorry. But how is it completely different from what we usually see in love poetry? Is it different? And if it is, in what way do you think it is different?
I think it's different because first he has a very clear, very straight religious reference,
Okay.
and it's quite well. It's not frequent. Like usually people they do have all these beautiful words about love and beauty and dreams and sleeps and appearance, but not about historic and religious fact. Also, it's quite a sad story, and he also. He just thinks too much in this poem. I mean, if you compare it with other love poetry,
You are my little flower.
Yeah, exactly.
I love
Yes.
you. I love you.
exactly like that's what.
So it's very
But it is metaphysical love.
yeah,
metaphysical.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
He's very
Trained
complicated.
together.
He's complicated. I mean, that's good that he's complicated, but usually people don't do this. They write it in a different way. That's all.
Okay.
Okay, so let's have a look at it a bit closer now. I wander by my trough, which is like a very famous line now. So what is trough? Truth. We start with truth, something that is true. And we start with wandering. Wandering is an uncertain position, yeah? But we don't know. We are open to new discoveries.
Yeah, I also find it interesting that wonder, like there is also wonder, and I think that these words often come together.
Yeah.
So there is a connection with them, and next he's gonna talk about north and west and sea discoveries. So maybe
wondering and wondering.
yeah.
Yes. Okay, and then of course troth and thou are somehow connected, I guess. What thou and I did till we loved. Very interesting. So, who is in here? You and I. What kind of relationship?
Very close relationship. Maybe we don't know either. It might be love, it might be friendship, it might be something else, but they're really, really close, and they highly important for each other. And like, if you look at this phrase, it feels like before they met, before they started to love each other, their life was pointless.
Yes. Yeah.
So they only fulfill their purpose. Their life only has meaning if I and thou meet and sort of connect by a connection that might be not really physical, but rather something intellectual. That's why it has lots of intellectual things. Sorry, I stopped.
Yeah. So thou is rather intimate. Thou is more personal than you. And of course, once you say you or thou in the poem, you are taking the reader, the audience, straight into the talk. You and I, me, you there. You and I did till we love. And it's like, why should he wonder? Does he not remember? I wonder, what did we do till we love? I can't remember. So the life is so completely different. They're new people now, with new memories, new sensations, new perceptions.
They experience a rebirth of some sort.
Yeah, he also starts this poem, well, the first 3 lines, they're questions. So he kind of starts this poem as a dialogue with this thou. But they're also rhetorical questions, not like the real questions. He doesn't need an answer, he answers himself.
Yeah, and again, we listen to his poems, they're full of music. Wonder by my troth, what thou and I did till we love. Were we not weaned? Suck on country pleasures childishly. So were we not weaned till then? What is weaned?
What is weaned?
What else?
What is down?
Okay. Weaned is when a child stops taking mom's milk and starts taking food. So we were like babies before we started to love. And again, it's the old question, the old subject of innocence and experience. Like in Blake, like in Paradise. At first you're innocent, but, and it's good, but you can't go on like that forever, because there's a lot that you're lacking. And then you turn your innocence, songs of innocence become songs of experience, and you're a different person, you can't come back. But it's good, it's good to be changing. Weaned till then.
But if you are innocent, if you are still up there in heaven, you are not only connected, you are part of an absolute that is in heaven. When you lose your innocence, it's good because you discover
who you are.
You discover who you are. You might discover lots of. You might travel. You might discover lots of those things John Donne is talking about here. But then you are separated from that reality, which is the biggest possible reality.
It's a classical story of coming to your true nature. So first you're innocent, again speaking about Hero with Thousand Faces. First you're innocent, like Harry Potter, you live somewhere in a small room. Then you take on a journey which changes you. And you go away from home, you go away from the paradise, you go away from your hobbit hole. And then you come back, but you're different now. But first you need to walk the long, long way, which will change you.
You come back
Then you come
as
back.
you die.
As you die, yeah.
Welcome to Shire.
So we'll be not weaned till then. So immediately we have an image of a baby, an infant, really tiny baby. Oh, then we have this really funny line. But sucked on country pleasures childishly. And of course, as you keep in mind that in original text we had S and F.
Which look
the
completely
same way.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the old convention, which starts disappearing, I think, in late 18th century.
Yes, but lots of people were playing with that. Because if you have it, you play with it. So obviously, every time you see a word like sucked, you know what they mean. So you can't really say the other word.
You can't really say that.
You can't really say the other word, but you know what they mean. So, duck.
So we lost our innocence.
We lost our innocence, but. Here we have, before we love, we suck. Because sucking is not love. Sucking is an animal thing, not human thing.
So we were basically the much lower level.
Before you love, you're just like an animal on country pleasures. What's country pleasures?
Convenient stuff, things in some way. It's about taking and nothing about giving away.
Maybe. So sucking as in sucking like taking.
Yeah, I just thought that this word suck was used in terms of like, you know, when you stick to something like a parasite and you take
sucking blood.
Yeah, exactly.
But we know the context is a baby because we have the word weaned. So we said the context, so there's no question here. But again, suck and love is different things. A country, again, countryside. Who lives in the country? What's the perception of people who live in the country?
Oh, there are a lot of stereotypes like they not very clever, that they live by their instincts, like they don't really think about the future and they do a lot of things unconsciously.
Which is obviously not always true.
Yeah, it's not true, but
the idea in literature.
They're rude and violent.
But it's also the idea that is later be exposed by Jean-Jacques Rousseau that you are much closer to nature as you live in the country, as you minimize your possessions. So they were, when they sucked on country pleasures, they were much closer to this initial
So it's like
perfect paradise.
Again, we have those idyllical images of shepherds
and
who live
shepherdess.
happily in nature and have no troubles.
Yeah, and also the countryside is full of richness, like all this food and let's say fresh air, which we didn't have.
Oh, you want me to open the window?
I mean, I was fine, but
Again,
yeah, so maybe it's about overwhelming that you have everything around you and you can take it and don't think about consequences.
yeah, childishly.
Yeah.
So we have this idea of a baby. We have the word weaned and sucked and childishly.
They
But
like children.
we like children. We grow up a bit because first it's an infant. Weaned and sucking, but now it's child. Child is bigger than a baby. Childishly. Again, is it good or bad? Childish. Childishly.
Oh, I don't think it's. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I don't think it's good or bad. It's just when you're a child, you do a lot of things and you don't really think about them, and you're also responsible, and you don't take responsibility for your actions. So it just means that you don't pretty much about yourself, not about other people.
I don't know. My experience is that today, when they say, "Oh, childish," they usually say, "Don't be childish." So today, maybe, if the audience, if the readers exist today, they probably perceive childish as something negative, something to be critical about, something that you should get rid of. And that's exactly what happens to the writer. He's no longer a child, a small child, when his love comes. When he starts loving.
That's a big question. Can a child love in the big sense of word? Or is it only for adults who realize the importance, extremes of life?
Yeah, but who knows? And there are also lots of theories. Some theories explaining our problems in later life by being deprived, by missing our mother, by missing our primary caretaker. So maybe something that is happening to us in our childhoods really
There's somebody sucking, really sucking.
On country pleasures.
Country pleasures.
Childishly.
Very childish. Well, again, as they say, there's no point in being grown up if you can't be childish sometimes, but sometimes is sometimes. Some good times and some bad times. Anyway. Okay. So, before we left, we were like children, like babies, in the sense that a bit mindless. Again, we think about country pleasures.
But is it
and
mindless? Is it about being mindless, or is it just about being very happy without ever reflecting on it? So you are, and that often happens to people.
All of that. You have all the country pleasures for you, so you don't need to think about anything else.
Yeah, because when you say I'm happy, it means that you know how it feels to be unhappy. But they never felt unhappiness. They never felt the lack of happiness. So they are happy, but they don't know that they're happy. It's something that comes to them naturally. And then they change. They now know much more about this world. But and they fell in love, which is supposed to be a very happy moment. But that's exactly where happiness stops. And unhappiness.
Necessarily.
Unhappiness
in the point.
Now, as they are not really infants, they're not little suckers. They know that both happiness and unhappiness exist. So these two things, these two phenomena are opposite.
We don't really, we stick to the poem. We don't really have anything about unhappiness in the poem. What he says here, before you love, you don't know the real happiness. It's not about knowing unhappiness, it's knowing a real happiness. Like, if all you had was that, you think, oh, it's good, I like it, I love it.
Yeah.
And then some next day you have something like that. Then you can't go back to that thing and say, I love it, I still like it, but I know there's something else that I might have, but it's better. It's like if you only
and then these suppositions start. So I'm just trying to be head of.
Yeah. So we are free to do what we like, but we still need to stay with the poem, because otherwise we may just drift away somewhere too far from it. So we have nothing about unhappiness in here. We have about real happiness, real pleasure, and what is a fake pleasure, which we did not know was fake before we crossed it. Oh, they crossed something.
Alea jacta est. I crossed the Rubicon.
Now it's just how to make people cross. Or Snorted we, sucked pleasures childishly, snorted we in the seven sleepers den. Okay. Or we slept, snorted. Again, snorted is a funny word. So on one hand he's writing about serious stuff, on another he's not really serious. They've sucked and snorted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not only childish, but also reminds us of maybe some animals.
So the word den may remind you of animals again. But
Yeah.
who are the seven slippers?
Who are the seven sleepers?
She knows. I know, but she knows too.
The
So.
seven sleepers is the plot from the Bible, and well, basically it's about seven people,
Seven children.
seven children, yeah, who slept,
Again, children.
who slept in a cave for about 200 years because they were some kind of cursed.
Well, there were soldiers coming to get them, and they blocked the cave. The soldiers blocked the cave. They thought that the children will die, but they didn't die. They just slept for 200 years.
And then they wake up.
Hooray!
Yeah, and they also considered to be the saints.
So we have these interesting characters who are seven sleepers. First of all, number 7. Very interesting. So we have it again and again. We have 7 planets, 7 stars, the Pleiades. We have 7 days in a week, 1/4 of a lunar month.
Coming. 7 wonders of the world.
7 comes back again and again. Wow.
Magnificent 7.
7 is important. So 7 sleepers is not just Christian, it's not really religious. 7 sleepers, again, it goes beyond Christianity. It's a very common subject in like culture, where you have people, magical creatures,
7 dwarfs.
7 dwarfs, yeah. You sleep in a cave. Caves are magical. They're entrances to another reality, the underworld, obviously. We have Merlin sleeping in a cave. We have the Arthur and his knights sleeping in a cave. We have lots and lots of people who just sleep in a cave, waiting to wake up to a greater time. They don't die, they just sleep. So 7 sleepers is not really religious.
Yeah, I think
It's
it's
going up.
I just think that here it just shows that the author, he is interested in religion because he knows that, he uses that. But yeah, in those times people were quite
It's not so much of religion, I would say it's more of a folklore
yeah.
than religion.
Yeah, so he just, I think in this line, he just mentions
And
that.
folklore is connected to all this. Sorry, I'll just. It's connected. Folklore is connected to all these countryside things because that's
Yeah.
where they keep telling stories.
Yeah.
Oh dear, I wish they were sleeping. Okay. Yes.
Well, I think I've said what I had. What little I had to say. You want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that he's probably talking about it. Before we met each other, we were in this passive phase of life when we were actually sleeping and doing pretty much nothing.
200 years.
Yeah, 200 years
Yes.
ago.
Yeah. So mindlessness again comes into play.
Yeah, but also these 7 sleepers, they didn't change much during their
No.
sleep. So,
It's the same with all these people who sleep in caves. They might grow some beards.
yeah, so
nothing much
yes,
else.
so they only have changed and grow up after they met.
So again, country pleasures, 7 sleepers, a den, a cave. We use some special secluded space which is separated from the real world. Also, but this, all pleasures fancies day. Hello. All pleasures fancies day.
Seven sleepers. That's fun.
mochten vi in de fervent frontier. Yeah, it's a bit funny. Well, these are pleasures fences big. So we have the word pleasure, pleasures, plural, pleasures. And he says a pleasure is something pleasing. But pleasing is not a strong feeling, just something that is nice. Oh, do you know where the word nice comes from originally? Oh, I'll tell you because I really love it, I enjoy it. The word nice originally meant stupid. So the word meant stupid. I was like, oh, nice instead of stupid. She's a nice girl. And then a nice, oh, silly girl. And then nice like pretty girl. And now nice like fine. But originally it meant stupid. So each time you say somebody is nice, yeah, you're actually saying they're a bit stupid. Well, the idea is like cute. Stupid but cute. All pleasures fancies big. So all that you thought was pleasing, now it's just a fancy, something passing, something fleeting. All pleasures fancies big. If ever any beauty I did see, now we do grow up a bit because do children speak about beauty? No. They say, it's, what do they say? No. They think, we say, oh, it's a beauty. Maybe not really. Maybe they say it's tasty or it's colorful.
It's just soft. Smells nice.
Yeah, so beauty is the next step in our perception.
Yeah, so it's much more abstract instead of just immediate perception, something colorful, something, something. I'm always telling these stories, but I heard a child who's probably 5 years old in the bus today. It's a new bus. And, well, it's new, that's all I remember about the bus. But the child immediately attacked his father, questioned, oh, why is it so blue inside? What does it mean? And what about this smell? What does it smell of? So, as a child, you connect to this easy to feel parts of the reality. And as you grow, you probably say, no, it's not just about this bus that it is blue, but there's also something beautiful or something ugly about the bus. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, it was good. Okay. If ever any beauty I did see which I desired and got, okay, it's positive. You want it, you get it.
Yeah.
At the same time, who got the dream of me? There was nothing. I thought I got what I wanted, but really it was an illusion, which is, I guess, what happens to us in this reality. We feel like we are missing something. Not know what's that, and we try to compensate it. So we get on whatever we can grab.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beauty, I desire it, but I get it, but I'm not happy. I have my tea, it's nice tea, but I'm still not happy, strange. Oh, I got some biscuits, look at the beautiful little biscuits, still not happy. I got a car, a house, whatever you wish. I'm still not happy.
A private aeroplane, have you got a private aeroplane?
Oh, well, I have a spaceship, time and space.
That's much better. Now you are certainly happy. Or aren't you?
Well, anyway.
I think that.
But still, it's just a dream of what we really need and want. But we don't know yet because we're still sleeping. So you can read it as a kind of a new age poem, I suppose. Which would be a funny way to read it. If we suppose it's not about people or about something more global. which I desired, God, was but a dream of thee. So we come back to the beginning first. Thou, now thee. In case if we forgot what he was talking about at first. And we have the word dream. We have this idea of first babies. And infants, usually you see infants like lying in their cot, in their bed. They can't walk. All they can do is just lie down. Then we have snorted sleepers, ideas of sleep. And now a dream of thee. So now as we prepared the background, we can wake up. Because to wake up first you need to fall asleep. Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The dream and the cave. Do you remember this famous line in Plato where you are sort of, in your life here, you are a sort of cave, watching at the shadows, and the shadows are signs of something that is real and true. And basically here, there's a cave and we have dreams. But they are just, and you desire things, but they are only shadows of something, or they are only shadows of thee, of something that is truly beautiful.
If we would go a little bit down to earth when we meet someone and when we fall in love, we remember this first impression about this person, and in my, well, sometimes, most of the times we like build his or her character, about his or her personality and stuff, and then a lot of times we get disappointed because we had this dream, we had this kind of ideal in our heads, but when we realized that it was just our dream, it was just our fantasy.
It's a good question. Why do people fall in love? Do they fall in love with other people, or do they fall in love with themselves, reflected in other people? Who knows?
Or with their dreams, which they somehow attach to the other.
Then again, it's themselves.
Yes.
Okay. So, do you believe in love at first sight?
I do. I mean, I had one, but it's not. I mean, when you read this poem, like, have you been thinking about someone special? Because I have a best friend, and I love her very, very much, and it was a love from the first sight. Not in a typical sense, like romantic sense, but it was just like
soul connection.
Yeah, soul connection.
It's like in the Beatles. Do you believe in the love at first sight? Yes, I'm so down, it happens all the time. Won't you see the eternal light? I can't tell you, but I know it's mine. Yeah, so here again, I can't tell you, but I know it's mine. Yeah. And that line is something that I really like to say in the morning. So instead of saying just, oh, good morning, which is boring, we have this perfect word, Morrow. I like the word morn and Morrow. Two words which you can use instead of boring morning. Happy people. So Morrow has a special sound to it. I think it's much stronger, much more musical than morning or morn. Morrow like tomorrow. To like this today, tomorrow, this morning. Now good morrow to awaking souls. I really mean it. It's a good thing to say in the morning. Good morrow to awaken souls. Yeah. So they were asleep. Now good new morning, new beginning. Very clear, transparent. But what is not transparent is how he says to awaking souls. Because what is important in a person? Is it appearance?
It's the soul.
It's the soul.
It's inner side.
It's like in his other poem which we read before, the benediction, thou sublunary lover's love only cares about touching hands and feet and lips. We don't care about it because our love is real. Yeah. So here it's the same. Awakened souls.
Yeah, so he might grow like in not in his appearance, like his body has grown up, so he's not a child, but his body he's like maybe a young adult or a man, but his soul
Or crocodile.
yeah, but his soul has been sleeping all the way along and remained childish and open.
And what I like about this phrase is that it's got in motion. It's not finished. Not awakened souls, but waking in the process of awakening. So you can watch it like a flower opening in the process, which is really beautiful. Changing the states. And it's not just states, it's realities, it's universes. The sleeping universe and now the transition to the real universe. More of the awakened souls, and then which watch not one another out of fear, which is obviously also a very important line. Which watch not one another out of fear. Why? What's going on here?
Well, there is an opinion where people fall in love and there's this, flowery candy period, so they want to spend the time with each other as much as they possibly could, but they also look at each other all the time because they're in love and they, oh my god, you're so beautiful, blah blah blah. And I mean, maybe he uses fear. Like sometimes when you stick to the idea of finding someone, not to be alone, or that like it's time because clocks are ticking, you watch somebody, or you find somebody, you stick to him or girl, like you suck to this person, and you then like, okay, I found somebody, well maybe he's not that great, but okay, I can handle it. And you watch this thing from this person you found because you're afraid to lose it. Because you don't think about how happy you are, you just think that you've completed the task, and now you're okay for the society and for the people, and like everything is it's normal.
That is crazy, the pressure of the society. Do you have a boyfriend, girlfriend? No! You are strange. All of you?
I full-heartedly agree.
So fear is the state they do not know. We have the word fear in here, maybe because a new state is always a bit frightening. Maybe it's only frightening from a side. Maybe if you're in it, it's not frightening. But as we look at it from outside, it might be frightening. A complete transformation. You are someone new. You have no idea who you might be now.
There was a song by Kurtz, it's an electronic band, and there's a line like, I'm walking away because I don't want to face what I'm feeling.
Yeah. But here we only have love, only have joy, and it's a radiant state, the true state of the soul, because souls do not fear. What can a soul fear? It's mortal, it cannot be destroyed, so it has no fear. As it's awakening, it only knows love and joy. And what is important here are the words not one, another out of fear. Because it's all about oneness, not nothingness, not oneness, a separation. But all three ideas are here, not one, another out of fear. We don't see it yet, but we have words in the text and then we come back to them in the end. So very important. That's where they first introduced. Okay. And of course, watching one another out of fear. What is watching? Observing. Why is it important? Why not something else? Which listen to one another, which hug one another, which watch.
Well, in the sense the word is used, it might also remind us of a watchdog. Is it a watchdog? When again you do it mechanically because you're a dog, and you watch out because you fear there might be some enemies around, then you start barking. So maybe this is something, and it, of course a watch has, and I believe Patty, John Lunstein, maybe somehow it's connected, but I'm not really sure I understand the connection, if it is.
Watches were really weird thing to have. Because people were really having strange ideas about watches and how you make time mechanical. And it's not good because time used to be more free, how the day was not in equal hours, but you had light time and night time, and you divide light time and night time into equal pieces. So in summer you have longer hours during the day, in winter you have shorter hours during the day. But if you have a watch, it tells you time. It becomes your time master. It bosses you. Because you look at it and it says like, okay, it's 8 in the evening. And if it's summer, you look out to see, it's not 8 in the evening, look, it's light. Or it tells you, okay, it's 9 in the morning and it's winter. You look out, how can it be 9 in the morning? It's dark. Yeah. So watch is a strange thing. Okay, but watch one another, again, mutual movement.
Yeah, and also maybe connect with this phrase that you could watch forever how the water falls down.
Maybe. So watching still has some distance, but the distance is not out of fear. Maybe. Watching also taking in. As you look at something, you take it in. Maybe that. So all love of other sides controls. That's why he gets clever. How do you understand it? Maybe you don't? I don't.
It's like...
Maybe it means that your other... I don't know what it means really.
It's funny that in the original version it's spelled like...
Control this.
Fights.
Yeah, fights. Sides and fights.
Yeah.
Because we have fear, and now we have sides fights. Probably also intentional. We now have the idea of watch and sides, also fear and fights. But love controls it. Love controls what we see and how we love what we see, apparently. And even if we don't really understand what he's trying to tell us, we still have the word love, all love, which is positive. And love is controlling. It's not something weak. Love is a natural force as strong as gravity, electricity. Love controls and makes one little room and everywhere.
Meaning that love is everywhere. If you're in love, then wherever you are, it still remains true. It creates a certain space, a certain little room. You and the person you're in love with and you don't really need anyone else. You don't need any more places, because that's the most important thing that can happen to you.
Again, we have the word one. Again, one. Little room and everywhere. We go small, little room, little space, and then it explodes into everywhere. But he explains it in the next 3 lines. Like one little room and everywhere. Where you are with your love, it's the whole universe of you there. It's like in Sun Rising, the other poem of his, the same idea. Like the 2 lovers in bed, and it's like, there's the sun coming up. It means we have to get up. No! None of your business. You're stupid, son. What you doing here? None of your business. Go check some school kids. They need you. They need you to remind them it's time to go to school. Or we'll just stay here because we have our universe. The center of the universe is where I am. Because my love is with me. I'm the center of the universe. You are the center of the universe. I'm the center of the universe. And we are one. It's something that comes back in his poetry, which I agree with. Let's see, discovers the new worlds have gone. So we have everywhere, which is big. So sea discovers is also big. Sea is big. We have this idea of traveling across sea discovers. New worlds. Again, big and new. Good morning, new worlds. Let's see, discovers the new worlds have gone. So what we see as we read the poem is a big expanded picture. Where are we? Are we lost? We don't care. Let maps to other worlds or worlds have shown. So again, it's growing. It's not just worlds, it's worlds on worlds. Worlds on tops of worlds. It's really, really big. And you may think, it's great, it's important, we need it, the big universe, yay. No. I like mapping. Let's leave it to other people who don't know the real truth.
And of course, maps often represent our road maps, as they like to put it today, meaning our plans. So there's our life that is more or less defined by our roadmap. And this is certainly not something that John Donne wants to see. Let maps to other.
Do you think we should read them some poetry?
No, I think
maybe we should invite them so that they can sing some songs to us.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but they're majority, so I'm a little bit afraid that they all come and just, come with us and...
Oh, what about playing the equality card? We are the minority, they need to respect us. Do you think that would work? Maybe not in Russia.
Maybe not in Russia.
All musicians who think that they great, it doesn't matter whether they're great or not, but when people think they're great and they're musicians and they're so artistic, they can be quite aggressive. So that's my place, that's my stage go off.
Well, it's alright, because if you're a musician and you can't really sing or play, then just nobody comes to your concert, nobody buys your tickets. But if you do it, like here, where people can't possibly run and hide, it's a bit gross.
I just think they chose very inconvenient space, because for them the toilet is very close and people go to the toilet and there is the sound and everybody's coming to the cafe. So I don't know why they chose this room.
So everybody can hear them. It's a big
That's so
room.
narcissistic.
Well, you go tell them.
No, I think they're my nerds or so. Maybe.
Well, you are the funny people.
So let us possess.
Yeah, let us possess one world. Each have one and in one. So you can see one, 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 one. Is it 5 times? Gone. Gone has one in it as well. Yeah. Okay, okay. So we have 6 worlds. One. What we do, we blow it up, we make it bigger, we inflate it everywhere. See, discovers worlds, worlds and worlds, bigger, and then we can't hold it. It just goes bang. We don't need worlds and worlds and worlds and worlds. It's too much. We don't need it. Let us possess one world. Each have one and is one. Again, as in the sun rising. I think it's time to start. Yes. Well, I have watched, I look at it from time to time.
Watch not one another out of fear.
Okay, so now we have the word possess. Possess. Let us possess. Okay, we have the word let. Let is a good word, which is like love, let, la.
Let is also about the space.
Okay, now let us. We compare it. Okay, possess one world, which have one and is one. Okay, you are the universe in yourself, I'm the universe in myself.
And together we stand united.
Yes. Well, still, it's a bit, how do you call this weird geometry thing, where you can have things and things. I don't know. Well, it's something like that. It's something like Klein's bottle. It might feel like a paradox to a linear mind, but there's no paradox in more advanced space.
That's better. That's better. No, she plays nice.
Sometimes I even tune the guitar before I start playing. Okay, each has one and is one. So possess, has, is. Have is like has.
Yeah, I mean the rest is like this maps.
Yes. And then again, possess, long word. Have is a short word. Is a small word. So again, from big to small. We move from big to small to oneness. My face in thine eye, thine in mine appears. So you just listen to it. It's just it's not words. It's just a spell. Thine, thine, mine. Thine and mine appears. So you are in me, I am in you. In the eye, again, watching and sight and shown.
Yeah, and also when somebody is showing up in your eye, it means that you stay really, really close, and it's like maybe 5 centimeters between you. And in the beginning, he said, what did he say? There was something about the space, like there was distance between them, and now there is no distance or very little distance.
Yeah, we sat on country pleasures. It means you are there, I'm here. We don't really care. We just run around.
Yeah, it was with watching one another, so there was some distance. Yeah, and the distance is getting closer because It is appears. Appears.
Is there a distance?
What is
Because
that?
I understand that there's no distance.
Yeah, I mean,
It might look like a reflection, but it's not a reflection
It's not
because
a
the reflection might be quite
My
wrong.
face, not the
It's not a
reflection of
reflection,
my
it
face.
appears. It's not reflected, it just appears. So we are,
Yes, like we said, if you look
Yeah.
at something, you take it into.
yes.
If you remember that story from Doctor Who with the weeping angels, if you look at the weeping angel, it gets into your eye and becomes a real angel and it kills you. So,
The angel
well,
can kill you.
like a statue.
it was an alien which looked like a stone angel.
Like in graveyards.
Anyway, if you look at something, it gets into your eye. It gets inside you literally. Again, people had various ideas about how sight works during different times. So sometimes people say, it's just a light reflected from things that gets into your eye and then your brain does something funny with it. Or another thing that they say is, no, it's literally in your eye. You look at it. Or another idea was that your eye projects special beams, which is also might be true because we can feel when somebody is looking at us. Might not be connected. But still, there was an idea that it not only comes into your eye, what you see, but your eyes also produce special watching rays which affect reality around you, which is also true as we know now know from quantum physics, the observer effect, also sociology, I guess. If you observe something, it behaves differently than if they don't know you're observing it. Yeah. So eyes are obviously important.
I just say that eyes are the soul of.
Yeah, windows to your soul.
Yeah, exactly.
You have waking souls and watching. So if a soul has any physical parallels and eyes, and true plain hearts doing the faces rest. A trough? No. True. Are they drunk? True plain hearts.
Yeah, it's interesting because he says plain hearts, meaning like hearts which are simple, hearts which do not require that much. And in the beginning we had country pleasures, so overwhelming, richness, blah blah blah.
But then again, country pleasures might be something plain, simple.
Yeah, but still there are a lot of stuff in countryside. Yeah, faces rest, so when you rest it means that you're comfortable, you feel safe, you're happy, you're a little bit lazy, but...
So what he says, my face in your eye, and the heart is in the face, so my heart is in your eye, and yours in mine. If you can follow that logic. Yeah, because your heart, it reflects on your face. Yeah, your face shows you. Then your face is reflected in the eye, and the eye is the soul. And reflected means goes into it. So he says, if we stay that close, that my face reflects in your eye, then my heart goes straight into your soul.
The nipple is in the egg is in the duck is in the air.
What was it? The bake on the chick, and the chick in the egg, and the egg on the nest, and the nest on the twig, and the twig on the branch, and the branch on the tree, and the tree in the wood, and the green grass goes all round and around, and the green grass goes all round. So my face and thine, mine appears. And true plain, hearts do in the face's rest. Where can we find two better hemispheres without sharp north, without declining west? So again, it's sweet and funny and serious. What is it? What is he talking about?
So, one hemisphere, the second hemisphere, but
What is
together they are spheres. This the second person.
Eyes.
Ah,
It's eyes. A hemisphere, what you can see. Two hemispheres, the two eyes.
wait, but one pair of eyes is one hemisphere. Or is it one eye, which is one
Each
hemisphere?
eye is a hemisphere, as you can see. If you don't take the eye out of the skull to look at it, you see a hemisphere.
Yeah, but
Hemisphere.
I mean, they together they have four eyes.
Yes.
And he's talking about two hemispheres.
But he also says we are now united. Your eye is my eye. Your
Yeah.
left eye is my right eye. Your right eye is my left eye. So probably it's like it's because you say four and then it sounds funny. You say two and it sounds
Two
true to
eyes.
life.
A person has two eyes and he looks into her eyes and she looks into his
Yeah.
eyes. Yeah. So my face and thine eye. Yeah, we talk about them looking into their eyes, each other's eyes. So he's like, oh, where can we find the better hemispheres? Your eyes are so beautiful, like hemispheres, only better. Like hemispheres of our planet, only better. That's what he says, and that's why he's so amazing. He's not afraid to say it. Do we usually say, oh, your eyes, like two hemispheres of our planet, only better? How does it make you feel? He's in love with a goddess, maybe? If your eyes are like a hemispheres of a planet, because we had the sea discoverers and maps and worlds.
You're gonna think that his lover is a whole universe to him.
So if she is the whole universe to him, then her eyes could be like, simple, miserable poets say stars. But the clever people say hemispheres, because if you say stars, stars are tiny, or somewhere there. But as you show sea discoverers, new worlds, you remember, the planet is big. And now you do it, and it's as big as a planet. It's a universe, literally. Yeah? Where can we find two better hemispheres without sharp north, without declining west? So we have sharp, we have decline in the poem, and then we cancel them. Because he says, oh, the real planets are nice, but we go north, it's sharp and cold. And west is where it's all declining, the sun goes down. But you are perfect. You're not like that. You don't have this.
Yeah, you're all round.
And again, we make it really big. North and west. We're talking about the person. We're making this person as big as directions. And of course, the perfect ending. Whatever dies was not mixed equally. So we talk about love and waking, and now suddenly whatever dies. Do we often talk about that in love poetry?
Actually, yeah.
Actually, yes. Also, I guess most poems are either about love or death or
And
love
misery.
and death. And misery. It was something I said if you have Russian people to read a poem, it would be really different from like Americans reading a poem. I saw it myself. You have a class and you have like, I don't remember, 10 Americans and 10 Russian people. You give them the same poem and you ask them, what do you think it was about? And the Americans look at it and say, oh, it's about freedom. It's about personality and identity.
It's about liberty.
And liberty.
It's the statue of
Personal
liberty.
happiness. Personal happiness.
Human
If
rights.
you give the same poem to the Russian students, what do you think it's about? They're like, is it? It's about death and misery. I sold myself. It happens every time. So is it about personal happiness and freedom or about death and misery? Whatever dies was not mixed equally. So what is he saying here?
The people who dies, like really died, they just didn't found the loved one, they didn't unite it that much. They didn't become one whole thing.
Yeah, so
They stayed separated.
yeah, well he says here, he doesn't refer especially to people. He says whatever, anything, dies, gets destructed. So again, it's this old idea. It's alchemy. It's from alchemy because we love alchemy. It's cool. He likes alchemy and it's cool. We have the idea of atom, something that cannot be divided. Soul cannot be divided. Atom cannot be divided. That's all recently. So if you can't divide it, you can't decompose it, means it can't be destroyed, because to be destroyed means to be taken apart. If it can't be taken apart, it can't be destroyed. So whatever dies, whatever can be destroyed, is not whole. It consists of different things. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's from the printer.
because it's a new printer.
Yeah.
No, that's an old printer. That was an old printer.
A new printer.
No, I had a new printer scanner, but I only use it as a scanner because the old printer has some ink in it still. Oh, that's from it. Did you have fun?
Lifelines.
Anyway.
It's just you attract.
Dyes was not mixed
Both of you
equally.
attract. Yeah.
Again, we have this nice form of mixed in the original. Equally. Mixed equally.
Then we also have these dyes with
Yeah, with a
Y.
With yes. Dyes with yes. Whatever dyes was not mixed equally. So love is a kind of an alchemy. And in alchemy you often describe your actions through like love, marriage. If you say, you marry a queen and king, it might mean you mix like two metals.
It's funny because there is a theory about Snow White fairy tale that actually Snow White is like a ciphered instruction to how to create a philosophical song.
Yes, because lots of stuff is deciphered in fairy tales. If you look closely, you can read it. You can read it. Yeah. Was not mixed equally. Equality! So, if our two loves be one, again one, or thou and I, we start with thou and I wonder by my trough what thou and I did to love. Now again, thou and I, come back to it. Love so alike that none do slake, none can die. So on one hand, what he's saying is just like this alchemical thing. If our love is perfectly reflected in each other, then we are one, we are whole, we cannot be broken, we cannot die. Which is nice and positive. But if you speak about the poem and how we feel about it, so we start with all these childish, nice little things, then we grow up, and first stanza we're children, second stanza we grow up, third stanza we die. Which is like the whole life story in 3 stanzas. What we have here, first we make it big, we show the big world, big universes. And now we count backwards. We have 2 loves, be 1, and then none. 2, 1, none, and the last word is die. Perfect. Maybe that's why it might feel a bit melancholic. Because how you finish is important, obviously. Even if it's technically it's a negation, but as we may know, our brains don't really do negation. If you say none can die, then your brain says, can die. So first slay can, then die. That's what happens here. From all to nothing in a happy, peaceful way. Okay, what do you think?
There is this ritual in black magic, it's called black wedding. So basically, if you want to be united after the death, you go to the graveyard and you marry there, surrounded by dead men and blood and all this nice stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, so at the end of the ritual, your souls is united, and this means that you think the same, you have the same feelings. So it's like you don't have your own feelings now. Your feelings are shared between you. Yeah, so it feels exactly the same all the time.
Well, that happens to people without black magic.
Yeah, I mean, it's like. And,
there are lots of stories.
Yeah, and that's why after they die, for example, if somebody dies earlier, it means that the second one will lay down and also dies, and they will be reunited.
Again, that often happens without black magic. I mean, the ritual of marriage, if it's real, it says the man and the wife are one body. That's what it says in the Bible. Well, that's what we have. If you're one body and say the man dies or the woman dies, then the other one has to follow, just because the gravity is too strong. Is it?
Well, that's what happened with John Donne. His beloved wife. Well, he wasn't like not a nice person, but he spent all his money, and he came back from the war, and he got a job in the government, and he fell in love with the daughter of his boss, and they got secretly married. And the father of this young woman, he was furious, and he demanded. So John Donne, he went to jail, but after his father accepted him, and his wife died when she born a dead baby, and then,
stillborn.
Yeah, she was stillborn, and then she died, and he died a couple of years later. And before he died, he read a very sad preaching in the church.
Yes.
And people and also before he died, he ordered not a painting, but a painting on stone with him in by Saturn, and then he died.
Yes, and now we have that funny pub in Moscow, like John Donne, where they have the image of him in his shroud. They have the portrait of dead John Donne.
Yeah, this like photo he ordered for himself.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and people
he
said,
looks really happy.
yeah, just people said that he kind of felt his death, so that's why he.
Yeah. Well, people feel their death.
Yeah.
And if they're not afraid to feel it, then they just know. Which is, I guess, a good thing.
Yeah, and in his poem he says that he has no fear because we worship one another out of fear.
So he says, even if we die, we still do not die because we are whole, we are one, we cannot be broken. So maybe it is activity control. Okay. Anything else?
Well, maybe I just had a thought that when do people love each other? They have children, so children is like the continuing either of the mother or the father.
That's Shakespeare's ideas.
Yeah, but I just thought that maybe because none can die. And
no, I don't think he means it. Yeah, I don't think so. He doesn't say about 1 and 1 equals family, children, offspring. No, he says 1 and 1 equals 1.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's more poetic.
He doesn't speak about any
racial stuff.
It's more a Shakespeare's thing. If you read Shakespeare's sonnets, every second sonnet is like, you're gonna die, baby, but if you give some birth before you do, if you have some children from me, then you will live with your children. Come on. That's what Shakespeare does. But John Donne is above that, above sucking.
Yeah, he has written about very high love.
Because he's writing about souls and bodies.
Yeah, but still there are people who can write about souls and do it in so rational way.
So you still think it's very rational?
No, I mean, he's not rational, he's very poetic, and he has this high love that sometimes people, even if they write about love, they're kind of very rational and skeptical, and when you read about souls, you don't really feel it, because you're like, oh, he's just writing about the bodies and excellent.
And about rhyming, just a little technical thing. So it's like one, A, B, and then C, C, C. So again, it's funny because in the first part of each stanza, you have this distance, A, then B, then A again, B, then A, then B again. Yeah? The rhymes are separated.
B, C, D, so
Yeah?
here, everywhere,
Everywhere.
shown one.
Come shown one. So the last three rhyme. So it's again reflects the mapping of his reality. First you're separated, and then 1, 2, 3, you're together, you're one. 2 rhymes, and the third rhyme, which is the same rhyme as the 2 previous ones. So the 3 are 1, 2 are 1. Okay. And that's right, and that's finished. Good. We need more John Donne in our lives.